Welcome back. Now, with no end in sight for the ongoing Middle East war, Israel is reflecting on violence and the rising casualties in Washington. President Biden and Vice President Harris have supported Israel, while campus protests have already revealed divisions within the Democratic Party. Republican support is also growing, raising questions about future of the US-Israel relationship as ceasefire efforts are faltering and peace remains elusive. And so in this report, we explore what will be the impact of the US elections on the war.
On October 7, 2024, Israel marked the first anniversary of the Hamas attacks with the same chilling sound. Just like last year, Israelis rushed to shelters as rockets flew above them. The conflict sparked by Hamas's assault on Israel has resulted in thousands of deaths across the Middle East. As the war enters its second year, the flames have spread 6,000 miles away and impacted the political landscape in US, which is heading into elections. As the US presidential elections approach, polls show a tight race between Trump and Harris, with the Gaza conflict and American support for Israel taking center stage. In last month's presidential debate, both candidates clearly expressed their unwavering support for Israel, especially in military terms. The Biden administration has echoed this support and commitment, stating that Israel will receive whatever it needs for its offensive against Hamas in Gaza. While the support has long been a cornerstone of US foreign policy, massive protests on college campuses earlier this year have raised questions about the limits of that support.
What we know is that this war must end. It must end immediately, and the way it will end is we need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out.
She hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now.
The devastation in Gaza became a flashpoint in US politics as campus protests erupted across the US. With the unrest came a big twist in the race. Joe Biden dropped his re-election bid and endorsed his running mate Kamala Harris, but concerns over US's unwavering support for Israel only grew. Israel's military action against Hamas in Gaza has become the biggest foreign crisis for the Biden administration this past year. Biden's visit to Israel on October 18, 2023, just a week and a half after Hamas's attacks, was seen as a diplomatic success. However, the Biden administration did not anticipate that Netanyahu's government would undermine American diplomatic efforts and outright reject negotiations for a two-state solution. Despite growing frustrations, Biden continued to publicly support Israel. At the same time, Iran's increasing involvement in the conflict has made the situation a top priority for American voters, and the potential for a wider conflict adds further complexity. Since the Gaza war erupted, Democrats are divided between the traditional support for Israel and a faction that blames Israel for the ongoing conflicts. This leaves VP Harris in a tough position.
I support Israel's ability to defend itself, and I support the need for Palestinians to have dignity, self-determination, and security as we move forward and get a two-state deal done. But right now, the thing we need to get done is this hostage deal and this ceasefire deal. We need a ceasefire, we need the hostage deal.
In July, the US seemed close to securing a ceasefire, but those efforts ultimately fell apart. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is banking on a Trump victory, believing that former president could be a more compliant partner than President Biden. If Kamala Harris wins, she'll face the challenge of establishing her own foreign policy amidst clashing US and Israeli interests in an escalating situation. While Trump may appear ready to grant Netanyahu a free rein, his reluctance towards US military involvement in the Middle East could deter any major escalation that risks his political future. Few issues ignite global politics like the Israel-Palestine war. Yet, countries in the region still look to Washington for mediation and support. The burning question remains: will the Gaza war sway American voters and cost one of the candidates their shot at the Oval Office? In a world on fire, every vote counts.